I'm Jennifer Sanasi. You're watching News 24 Live. I'm joined in the studio by Jonathan Rocksmith, who is currently putting on his performance of Stage by Stage at the Theatre on the Bay. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Again, this is how rumours start.
I know, it's true. Now, Stage by Stage, you started 2 nights ago?
Yes.
And
yes.
how's it been going so far?
Well, so far, I suppose out of all the shows I've done, this one has the broadest appeal because it's a show of everybody's favourite songs from the musicals. You know, every musical comes along, it's got one really good song. Now this is a show full of those.
That's amazing.
So it's really nice to see people of all ages, I have to say, because you know, normally the biddies come out and watch the show only, but across the board you've got people who are sort of in their teens all the way up to last night, particularly our more experienced audience members. So it's good. It's good to see different people coming to the theatre.
Now, what's your favourite song? I know that's a hard question.
I'd probably say "Pretty Women" from Sweeney Todd. Because more because you can actually see an audience get very uncomfortable during it because of the way we staged it.
Right.
Which is the point of Sweeney Todd, I suppose, to unsettle an audience. And it's nice to see that even in 2015, with things like Breaking Bad and Dexter and all these programs, you can still unsettle an audience with something very simple.
Now, does the audience sing along with you?
In Pretty Women?
No, for any of the songs.
They don't sing along, but they do mouth along, which is really interesting because I've become aware that they know the words pretty much as well, if not better, than I do.
Really?
And there's been a few shows in Joburg that we did where I messed up the words here and there, and they knew, and they came and told me afterwards. So thank you.
Now, there's also an album. You have compiled these songs onto an album, right?
Yeah.
Is that true? Am I saying the wrong thing?
It's very old.
Is it old?
It's very old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way it came about is the album was during Sunset Boulevard, and people liked the song so much they said, "Well, why don't you do a show?" So I did.
And there you go. And it's going well.
Yeah. It's certainly not a new album at all.
Okay, so it's an old one with the same songs?
Not really. That's why I'm surprised you brought
weird.
it up. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you why I brought it up afterwards.
Okay.
How many songs are there in the performance?
Overall, there's 20 numbers.
20
for the evening. Yeah.
Okay, and just one song after another, or how do you kind of transition between them?
The point of the show is to sing songs that I have sung, am singing, and will never be allowed to sing. And then in between, we've got all sorts of stories from either backstage, funny mishaps that have happened during Phantom of the Opera, for instance, all the way up to stories that I just really enjoy telling. And so far, touch wood, the audience likes hearing, so it's good.
When you say songs you'll never be allowed to sing, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know, some people feel that the typecasting is the way to assume that you will go along with a career, and I'm not one to believe that I can't sing a certain song because I'm not tall enough, small enough, whatever. And some of the songs are actually ladies' songs, so there's a valid reason why they'll never let me sing them properly. But it's nice to see audiences, after you give them the predictable material and the expected stuff, to go in with different things, and they sit back and go, it was actually quite nice, you know, and they leave the theatre with a good mix of stuff that they wanted to hear and a few surprises, which I think ultimately is the secret to any good night at the theatre, to be surprised.
Now, what song has had the strongest reaction from the audience?
Yeah, it's going to sound very cliche.
Okay.
But Music of the Night from Phantom. I mean, my association with the show from the past, lots of them have said, we came to hear that song. And considering it's the end of Act 1, the fact that they stay for Act 2 is a bonus. But yeah, I'm constantly amazed at how that song affects people. Some people go crazy, but it really affects audiences. I mean, we had kids in on Monday night who, you know, kids are fidgety in theatre.
Yeah.
You know, we all were, but they go absolutely silent, and still when that song comes on, I don't know why, but it connects with people.
Well, that must make you feel incredible.
Oh, it's an absolute thrill every time to do it, because often people go to the theatre and forget that it's live. It's right there. They think it's like TV, that they can shuffle or talk or crinkle their papers. So when you get material where they stop all of that and actually share the experience with you, it's wonderful.
That's amazing. Now, how did you pick these 20 songs? I imagine it was hard.
It was hard. Peter phoned me up and said, "You want to do the show?" I said, "Yes."
Full stop.
No, some of them are some old favourites of mine, and the others I really just wanted to sing some of them, and I've never had the opportunity. So they sort of chose themselves, and then in between, the director Wesley Lauder, who was in Call Me Lee with me last year, he had a few suggestions of stuff that he thought he couldn't understand why people haven't performed these songs, and we put them together and sort of tried them out and thought, oh, we're going to cut. Haven't needed to cut anything yet.
That's great.
So it's good.
Now, which one of the songs was the hardest one for you to perform or to learn or to kind of wrap your head around?
There's a song in Act 2 called The Soliloquy. It's from an old musical called Carousel. And essentially the whole song's about fatherhood. Now, I'm not a dad yet, so I wouldn't know. But it's about 6 minutes where it's a guy basically, the song is about what will my child be like. He goes through, if it's a boy, what it's going to be like, and then he realizes, well, it might be a girl too. And all of that comes with that. And it's this, you prowl between these two ideas. And I've seen a lot of people in the audience get quite emotional about it because they obviously relate. And it's hard to keep that up because it takes me to places I didn't think I'd feel anything about. And it chokes you up.
Why on earth is the show only here for like a week? It's been a week.
Yeah. Basically, I had a few weeks free in the year because I've got other stuff that I'm going into, and Peter really wanted me to have an opportunity to do the show, and I only had the week, so I said, well, we'll just do the week, and I thought, oh, it's probably going to flop just over a week. I am very happy to say I was wrong, because
it's almost sold out every night.
Yeah,
amazing.
But we've added now an extra show on Sunday the 22nd. And when I arrived in Cape Town on Sunday, it was really half full. So I'm constantly amazed that people want to see this because, to be honest, you know, the idea of a compilation show of musical theatre songs, I thought, I don't know if South Africa wants that anymore. Well,
they do.
They do.
And they have it.
Hopefully.